Hi, please take a seat. The conference will start in 2 minutes.
Tak asi můžeme začít, že jo? Tak jo. 2 minutes, sorry. Tak za ty 2 minuty. Jo.
Good afternoon, everyone, and everyone watching us from the online platform. It's amazing how many of you have gathered here to see the opening of the EUPeace conference of 2025. Over the next 3 days, we will explore a topic that touches us all: peace, justice, inclusiveness in the times of artificial intelligence. Quite ambitious, isn't it? But what better place to explore these topics than within our alliance that is built on these pillars? We will give space to cutting-edge research, but also creativity and dialogue. Today, our conference begins with opening words, then keynote session, followed by plenary session, and finally, this evening, we will celebrate together at the gala event. To set the path to our conference, I'd like to welcome Mr. Miroslav Lavička, the rector of the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen, to the stage. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, dear colleagues, dear students, dear friends. It's my great honor and pleasure to welcome you all here in Plzeň on the occasion of the conference organized within the framework of the EUPeace Alliance. Plzeň, or internationally Pilsen, is the fourth largest city in the Czech Republic and the second largest in the region of Bohemia. This year, the city celebrates the 730th anniversary of its founding. Hosting you here, therefore, means welcoming you not only to our university, but also to a city with a rich cultural and industrial tradition. Let me also recall that Plzeň is a twin city of Limoges in France, a partnership that is symbolically reflected in our alliance as well. So, welcome in Pilsen, vítejte v Plzni, willkommen in Pilsen, bienvenue à Pilsen, bienvenidos a Pilsen, benvenuti a Pilsen, Pilsene hoş geldiniz, dobrodošli u Pilsen. Hosting you here today is for us both a privilege and responsibility. For our university, this gathering is not only an academic event, but also a manifestation of our shared European values: cooperation, mutual understanding, and the belief that through dialogue and knowledge, we can shape a better common future. Allow me to say just a few words about the University of West Bohemia. We are the westernmost university in the Czech Republic with a proud academic tradition reaching back to 1948. Today, our institution brings together more than 12,000 students and around 2,000 staff across 9 faculties, 1 institute, and 4 research centers. Our research and innovation activities cover a wide spectrum, from engineering, applied and natural sciences, economics and law, to social sciences, humanities, and the arts and design. This diversity is one of our greatest strengths, enabling us to address complex societal challenges in a truly interdisciplinary way. Our commitment to international cooperation is strongly expressed through our membership in the EUPeace Alliance. EUPeace is built on the idea that universities are not isolated institutions, but active participants in building a Europe of peace, cooperation, and innovation. Through this alliance, we share knowledge, engage in meaningful projects, and, very importantly, take part in shaping the rules and frameworks that will guide higher education and research in the years to come. To safeguard peace, justice, and inclusiveness in our societies, it's essential that we also study and responsibly apply the most advanced technologies and tools. And universities must always remain one step ahead in this effort. This brings me directly to the theme of our conference: artificial intelligence in education and research. Today, there are few topics more topical, more discussed, and more relevant to the academic world than this one. AI has already become part of our daily lives. It helps us navigate cities, translate languages, process vast amounts of information, and increasingly it assists in research and education. For us as universities, AI brings enormous potential. It can support teaching by making education more personalized and accessible. It can accelerate research by analyzing large data sets and revealing patterns beyond human reach. It can free us from routine tasks and allow us to focus on creativity, innovation, and critical thinking. But with these opportunities come serious questions and responsibilities. What does it mean for teachers if machines can generate convincing explanations or even entire lectures? What does it mean for students if assignments can be produced in seconds by algorithms? What does it mean for academic integrity, for the trust we place in research results, if parts of them are generated by systems we do not fully understand? As universities, we must not only ask how AI can help us, but also how it may change us. Our role is not only to adopt technology, but also to critically assess it, to ensure the ethical use, and to educate new generations who will be able to live and work with AI in a thoughtful and constructive way. The EUPeace Alliance provides a unique platform for this reflection. It allows us to share experiences across countries and disciplines, to learn from one another, and, perhaps most importantly, to influence the way in which AI is integrated into education and research in Europe. Together, we have the chance to help define the rules of the game, instead of just adapting to them. That's why the conference is so important. It's not only about exchanging academic results, but also about opening a wider conversation about values, about responsibilities, and about the kind of future we want to create. I'm very much looking forward to the keynote lectures, the panel discussions, to workshops, to everything that will bring the conference theme Advancing Justice, Peace, and Inclusiveness in Times of AI to life. In addition, we will hear contributions within the EUPeace research hubs, and the program will also offer creative spaces. Let me therefore express my sincere gratitude to all of who made this event possible. I thank the organizing team here at the University of West Bohemia who worked tirelessly to prepare the conference program. I thank our partners in the EUPeace Alliance for their cooperation, commitment, and for coming. And I want to give special thanks to the Pilsen region, whose financial support has been essential for the realization of this conference. Finally, I wish all of us inspiring discussions, new insights, and fruitful connections. May this conference not only enrich our knowledge, but also strengthen our shared responsibility for the role of universities in a rapidly changing world. Thank you very much for your attention, and once again, welcome to Plzeň, welcome to the University of West Bohemia, and welcome to this important EUPeace conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lavička, for your kind and inspiring words. Now, I'd like to invite a representative of Work Package 6 and from Marburg University, Miriam Tekat, to the stage.
Thank you, Clara. I will make it a little bit shorter. I hope this is okay. Dear members of the EUPeace bodies, dear members of the EUPeace research hubs, and dear contributors and participants to the second EUPeace conference, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the EUPeace Conference 2025 on behalf of the EUPeace Work Package 6 team. I also extend a warm welcome from the Work Package 6 lead, Thorsten Bonacker, who will unfortunately only join us this evening. Whether you're joining us in person here or virtually throughout the upcoming days, sorry, I lost my point. We are thrilled to have you all with us for engaging with the more than timely conference theme, Advancing Justice, Peace, and Inclusiveness in Times of AI. This conference marks a unique opportunity to connect, learn, and collaborate across disciplines and institutions. We are so proud to have a diverse range of speakers, panels, and sessions lined up that will tackle global challenges such as social justice, migration, human rights, conflict transformation, environmental sustainability, and inclusive health. I would like to share a few organizational details as well, in order to make sure that you will be able to make the most out of the conference over the next days. We will have a joint start to the conference today. Tomorrow's conference program will entail parallel sessions of the 4 EUPeace research hubs, namely the Research Hub Security and Conflict Transformation, the Research Hub Climate Science and Just Transition, the Research Hub Migration and Human Rights, and last but not least, the Research Hub Inclusive Health and Wellbeing. At this point, I would like to thank already the Research Hub speakers, without whom it would not have been possible to create such a rich conference program. I would, of course, also like to thank all researchers, doctoral candidates, and practitioners who contribute with their expertise to making this conference a rare opportunity for truly interdisciplinary exchange. Beyond the official conference program, I would also like to bring 2 further aspects to your attention. My first point is that on Wednesday, we will have 4 creative spaces taking place at the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen. The creative spaces provide a context for open and transdisciplinary discussions of cutting-edge questions. They will, for example, address the topic of framing, enabling, and teaching the concept of justice in the context of climate change, the topic of social mediation and inclusive justice by trying to bridge grassroots knowledge and academic perspectives, and they will also address digital tools and women's pelvic health awareness. And there will be an exhibition or a creative space linked to an exhibition called Beyond the Places of Pain. The exhibition is my second point, because the exhibition is not only related to the creative space, but also open to the public. It will be displayed in the university library from Wednesday morning on, and you are all warmly welcome to have a look at the exhibition. The exhibition itself honors genocide victims and invites a critical reflection on personal and collective experiences of trauma, resilience, and remembrance. I want to stop here for now with all these organizational details, and now I simply thank the conference team here in Pilsen, without whom all this would not have been possible. I wish you a great conference with fruitful exchanges, new networks, and hopefully some creative ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam, for your organizational overview as well as the inspiring words. It is my honor to declare the EUPeace Conference of 2025 open. Let's start. Let's start with our keynote sessions. The format is quite simple. We've got 2 speakers who will both have a presentation of 20 minutes, followed by a 5-minute discussion. We encourage you to take part in those discussions and ask questions. So, with that being said, I'd like to invite Mr. Lukáš Benzel, Director of the Czech Association of Artificial Intelligence, to the stage. Sorry, I forgot the topic of his presentation. I have to read it out. I forgot my notes. He will share with us his perspectives on application of AI tools and approaches in the Czech Republic in the context in Europe.
Sorry for delay.
Great, thank you very much. Sorry for the delay. Thank you very much for the warm introduction. Hello everyone, welcome in the land of beer, Škoda Auto, and AI ambitions. Just a moment. Yes, it's working now. My name is Lukáš Benzel. I'm the co-founder and director of the Czech Association of Artificial Intelligence, and I have more than 18 years of experience in tech. So I'm not academic, but I'm all about artificial intelligence and innovations. Here are my contacts. Feel free to send me an email or a voice message or just connect with me on LinkedIn. The Czech Association of Artificial Intelligence is my baby. I'm co-founder, and I would like to briefly introduce you what we do and what is our mission and what are our goals and what is our perspective on the European AI ecosystem. We are a part of the European AI Forum, that's Association of AI Associations, including Germany, Poland, Croatia, you name it. And we are quite young. We were founded in 2023, and in many ways, we are a typical boring NGO, typical association. But we are very active, and I'm proud to say that we are the fastest growing AI association in Europe. In 2 years, we were able to get more than 380 members today, and not only huge big tech like Microsoft, Meta, Google, but also AI startups and a lot of other companies. And not only companies, but also institutions. The University of West Bohemia in Pilsen was one of the first universities in our associations and in our association, and I would like to say thank you for your trust and for your support. We are really glad that we can cooperate, and that's also the reason why I'm here. So thank you very much for the invitation. But also our members are from hospitals, or from marketing agencies, or from logistics, all the fields you can imagine, and we have a great reason for that. We strongly believe that artificial intelligence is changing the world, everything. So our goal and our mission is to find out all the risks, all the potentials, all the opportunities, and discuss about it and find some way how to maybe don't miss the train and how to really take all the advantages very seriously. Question of the day is, how can a small country like Czechia have a real voice in AI or in the AI ecosystem in Europe? How can we play an important role in the European AI transformation? And here's my perspective. The European context is crucial. We have our own national AI strategy as a Czech Republic. It's quite new, it's from the last summer. It's national strategy till 2030, but to be honest, it's a piece of paper, you know, it's a strategy. Everyone can have a strategy, right? But we also have some action plans, and European Commission also has an action plan. It's called AI Continent, and we would like to really follow this strategy and all the opportunities that are connected to this strategy. We also discuss regulation, because AI Act is a huge topic for us, and not only for us, but also for our members. And I think that regulation should create trust, not paperwork, right? So we discuss regulation, and we try to address all the potential risk and bureaucracy that is connected to the regulation. And we must have big ambitions, because I think that every continent would like to win the race. President Trump told the world that USA will win the race, but we have to stand up and really do something to not miss the train, as I mentioned. Let's start with the big ambitions. The huge part of the AI action plan, called AI Continent, are AI gigafactories, huge data centers with 100,000 best AI chips from NVIDIA. It's very expensive, but we have an ambition to build one in the Czech Republic, near Prague, in Zbraslav, and it's already making, because České radiokomunikace, a Czech company, is really serious about the project and is ready to pay its part. And I believe that we have a chance to build something like this in Czech Republic. We have some advantages, not only the fact that the center is already in making, but also we have a strong base in AI research, and we already have a know-how. Because in Ostrava, there is a supercomputing national center with the best, or one of the best supercomputers in Europe, and also with the first quantum computer. So we have a know-how and we are ready to collaborate. České radiokomunikace are already in touch with the AI IT for Innovation from Ostrava, who are responsible for this center. So I strongly believe that we have a chance to build something like the AI Gigafactory in Czech Republic, and it can bring a lot of positive things to our ecosystem, and not only into the Czech AI ecosystem, but in the whole region. Also, when I mentioned the regulation, I have to say that I'm really happy that Czech Republic has a strong voice in the regulation and in the initiative called Stop the Clock. This is Jan Kavalírek, Deputy Minister of Ministry of Industry and Trade, and he basically says that companies are not ready for the AI Act, and I can confirm it. More than 50% of the Czech AI companies don't know what to do with the AI Act, how to deal with all the articles. So we basically would like to postpone some of the articles, mainly in the part of the high-risk AI systems. And we are now collecting all the voices from Europe, from different countries, to write down our arguments and write down some maybe examples from practice to show the European Commission that companies are really not ready for the AI Act. And the reason why we do it is not that we don't do our homeworks, you know, because we already have an implementation law, for the AI Act. It's really minimalistic, only 10 pages, no gold plating. So we already have this law and we are ready to implement AI Act, but we believe that companies and maybe universities need more time for the implementation and for the high-risk AI systems. I'm in the corner of this photo, and you can tell that writing a law is not a funny thing, but I'm really happy for the result, and we will see if we will be able to postpone some of the articles connected to the AI high-risk systems. Why all this? Because we know our strengths. One of the maybe really good sectors, or our chance to do something good, is healthcare. By the numbers from Eurostat, only 11% of the Czech companies already implemented AI into the core business. Please raise your hand if you think that hospitals are better, more than 10%. No one? So hospitals are below, right? Below 10%. More than 60% of Czech hospitals use AI, sometimes in radiology, sometimes in back office, but more than 60%. So we know that healthcare sector looks really promising, and a lot of Czech companies are in healthcare and in medtech, and we have a working group in our association that connects more than 30 companies in a healthcare and AI topic. So healthcare is definitely one of our strength sides. Also, AI literacy is a huge mission for us. We have a lot of educational programs, not only for teachers or students, but also from the people from public administration. And we do it by ourselves, sometimes with huge partners like Microsoft, but we know that everything starts with the AI literacy, right? Because usually the transformation is not about technology or about artificial intelligence, but it's about people. So we start with the people, we start with the AI literacy, and we try to promote AI tools and things that you can do with AI, but also we try to address all the risks like deepfakes or bias in AI models, things like that. We also dedicated a whole month for AI. That was my idea. I don't think that it's a good idea, but quite exhausting, because last year in October we did more than 100 events in 1 month. Crazy, but we will do it again this year in October. So everyone is welcome. If you have a trip to Prague in October, just please join us in Karlín. We have an AI hub there, and we will organize lot of AI events for different target groups. We also believe that scientists should be more supported by the government, by the companies. Maybe you know this man, it's Tomáš Mikolov, one of the best AI researchers from Czech Republic. He did a lot of work on large language models and on the things that are the foundation for the whole AI revolution that we are living in it right now. But not only Tomáš Mikolov, we have a lot of different names in AI field that I would like to mention, but unfortunately we don't have time. But one project that I would like to pinpoint is definitely Open Euro LLM. That's a open-sourced large language model that will be created in Europe. Because we know that right now we are not independent, and we need our technology, our models that will reflect our culture, our ideas, and our languages. And just one piece of wisdom at the end of my presentation: I really believe that universities united in excellent AI research are the foundation for the Europe to truly become the AI continent, and that's the plan. So thank you very much for your attention. It was a great pleasure to be here. And now you can ask questions, simply questions, please. And thank you very much.
I'll give you a microphone if you've got any questions. Is there anyone? Okay.
Thank you very much for this presentation, and it was very interesting to learn about your activities here in Czech Republic and your communications with the same associations all over the Europe. And of course, AI is about regulation, about the legislation, yes, or adopting the relative legislation. So what is your position about regulating it? I have heard, and all of us have heard, your position about the AI Act. And I think it's absolutely true that not even 50% of the companies all over Europe are ready for that. Nevertheless, what do you see, what is your point about the regulation? What should be regulated in order not to stop or to pause the development of, of implementation of AI into our lives? And on the contrary, not to have too many risks which are connected with that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your question. I'm not a huge fan of regulation, but I think that the EU AI Act is based on a good foundation, and that's a risk-based approach. We definitely don't want to have a AI that will give us social scoring or that will monitor our emotions and things like that. So risk-based approach is a good idea. And also maybe the high-risk level of some AI tools is a good idea, because into the high risk you can count like toys with AI. So we don't want toys that will talk with our children about things that we don't want to talk, you know. But also I think that the AI Act needs some simplification, and not only AI Act but also GDPR and our legislatives in Europe. And right now the digital omnibus package is on its way, and I hope that GDPR and AI Act will be part of it. So definitely some simplification. The foundation is good. And the problem that I see in practice is that a lot of sectors are already heavily regulated, like finance, like healthcare. And if you put together AI Act with other regulations like DORA, NORA, NIS2 and things like that, you have a problem for your lawyer team, and huge companies can make it, right? But a lot of small and medium enterprises don't have time and money to do the compliance and to do all the homeworks. So this is my answer in a short, and I hope that I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, thank you very much for your nice presentation. My name is Ulus Çevik. I am from Çukurova University of Turkey. And I would like to ask the following question. Well, we know that the AI has made a very fast entry in our lives, and many people saying that many people will lose their profession. What is your opinion about that? I would like to hear that. Thank you.
What an easy question, right? Thank you very much. I think that a lot of new positions will be created, definitely, and also a lot of positions will disappear. But what's the problem of the labor market is that for the young people and for the juniors will be very hard to get a job. And we have to teach the companies that they have to think about it and create some program inside the company that is able to take the new employee from the basic position that has a low value or low added value. Basically, you can use AI for it, educate that person and put it into the position with the higher added value. So every company will become a university in a way, and that's the way how to handle it. That's my point of view, but we will see how fast the transition will be, and I hope that a lot of companies will see the problem and try to do with it something.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There you go. Thank you. Hello, I'm from Çukurova University. I'm Çağla. I have some concerns about AI tools. You are using AI tools in your hospitals and healthcare services, but how can you explain the responsibilities about that? How will you, who will take the responsibilities about patient safety and malpractices and wrong decisions in healthcare systems? Thank you.
Thank you very much. The healthcare is a great example to show how to protect personal data and things like that. But please don't mix the tools like ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot with different AI tools and softwares that needs to be licensed, like a medical device and things like that. But I have a story from a real life, you know. I asked one doctor about the privacy of her data, and he told me like, okay, so basically we need to put the data of the patient here, put it there. It's a huge process. But in a real life, when someone is like losing life or it's endangered, things like that, we usually use WhatsApp. So the real life is sometimes really different from the regulation and from the process that should be followed. But the regulation in a healthcare thinks about all the things that you have to think, right? So just one more thing. The medical devices, if you start a AI startup in a radiology, it takes about 3 to 5 years to get a license of a medical device. So the regulation is already quite strong. It thinks about everything. And patients are quite open or are like on the side of AI. If we ask them, do you want to pay like €1 for the AI in your care and really increase the chance that we can give you better care? Will you pay it? And everyone raised their hand. So it's about the discussion, it's about trade-offs sometimes, but I think that AI in healthcare is quite safe nowadays.
Actually, I'm not sure about that. I have some concerns about taking decisions, actually. Who will take these decisions?
The doctor is always responsible for the result. AI is only just a tool or device, but it works like a second pair of eyes. So every time the doctor is responsible for the final result and for the decision. It's not AI and it will be. No, it's always a doctor.
Okay, thank you.
We even wrote an AI handbook about AI in healthcare that we sent to every Czech hospital. And the things connected to responsibility was like on the first page. So every time the doctor is responsible for the result and for the procedure.
Hi, my name is Lucia Groe and I am part of the University Club in Italy. And thank you very much for your presentation. Compliments for your presentation and for your ambitions. I have a question about your opinion in terms of human dimension behind the AI technology. When we think about AI, we think in terms of the technology dimension. But what is the role of the human dimension, emotional dimension in your action? Thank you.
We try to address all the things connected to AI ethics, AI alignment to human values, and it's not easy to be honest. Usually we try to really cover all the potential risks and find some human stories and values in it. For example, we cooperate with the Czech association that basically try to protect human in an interaction with technology. So we are not fans and we are not blind fans of AI, but we also try to speak about these topics. We do a lot of events that are really focused just on people from different target groups, from small children to the elderly people and people in retirement. We do a lot of workshops for them, so we definitely listen all the concerns connected to the human ethics, values, and things like that. And I'm quite optimistic about it. I think that ethics is a huge topic already, but we have to really think about it in the AI race, because if you race for something and if you would like to win, you are able to cross some borders and boundaries. So this is our role, to cover people and to protect them, and wish us, please, all the best and all the luck to have the energy to really talk about it.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions?
By the way, great questions, thank you very much. I'm usually asked about some prompts for ChatGPT or things like that. These are great questions, thank you very much. And challenging ones.
All right, if that's all, thank you very much for
your presentation. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the day.
And let's move to our next keynote speaker, Dr. Miloslav Konopík from the Faculty of Applied Sciences of the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen. He will add his perspectives and research to the topics we've already discussed. The main theme of his presentation is Evolving Intelligence, the journey of AI at the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen. Please enjoy.
So, hello everyone. Thank you very much for a very nice introduction and thank you for having me. My presentation will be in quite a contrast to the previous presentation because there will be no talk about any regulations, about any law, but I will rather move to some technical backgrounds because myself, I am AI researcher for almost more than 25 years. So I remember the times when we wanted to experiment with neural networks, but our computers were way too slow to really do something with neural networks. So we started to use graphical cards, but at that time there were no frameworks for graphical cards and neural networks. So we really needed to trick the graphic card so it thought that we are playing a game. And this way it was helping us compute these neural networks. Nowadays you have a lot of frameworks and you don't have to deal with it. But back then it was quite challenging and interesting work. And I remember that it was very nice that when I started as a student in this research area, I started telling my friends in the dormitories that we have the best graphical cards in our computers because we do definitely need them only for the work. So it was nice time. Nowadays, yeah, it is a huge business. If I am not mistaken, NVIDIA is the like the best company in terms of finances. Like their stocks are very high, and it's a company that produces graphical cards originally for games. Yeah, so this is the development in AI, and it was full of surprises. Yeah, for us it was full. I don't know about the general population, but for technicians the journey was full of surprises. Yeah, and nowadays the progress is way faster than it was ever in the past. And it's no wonder, so many finances, so many funds are sent to AI that it would be really shameful and wasteful if the progress wasn't there. So definitely the progress is there, but not everywhere. I remember that we never thought that, I think the mathematicians, they thought we are safe. We have to think from another angles and to really give our creativity into doing some proofs, and yeah, I will never be able to replace us. And the same for our programmers. But nowadays we are not so sure, because the progress in these areas is extremely fast and much faster than we anticipated. And you will see that not only we, but I think the general industry and even the big companies are surprised by what they created. But contrary to prior expectation, I remember that we had speech systems like 20, 30 years ago, and we thought, yeah, it is like 10 years and speech will be solved and we will move to another topic and speech will be there will be no research left to speech understanding. Yet, the speech understanding is still not there. And also the driving cars. I remember that, I don't know, Elon Musk is someone who has big ideas and thinks they don't have really good concept of time. He thinks that everything will be very soon there. But a lot of other companies thought that we would have driving cars, self-driving cars like 10 years ago. But we are still very far away. The progress is there, definitely. But this is such a simple task. If you compare it, driving a car, and compare it to compiling a mathematical proof, well, if you compare these two tasks, you say definitely driving a car must be much simpler than finding a very difficult proof. The brightest mathematicians worked on some proof decades, and then they come with the proof. And this is not possible with AI, definitely. But everybody is surprised that it is. So we will take a look at these phenomena I find interesting. So, the AI scope is so vast that I cannot cover everything. So I will focus on two things, and one will be the progress in mathematics, and the other one will be the progress in speech understanding. And also, I will include the University of West Bohemia journey that is like embedded in these areas. So I will show you what we work on for many years, and that we have a very, very long history in working in AI. So we start with mathematics. That's very surprising. The models, they really nowadays are not rivaling like bright mathematicians. They are rivaling the brightest mathematicians that are in the world. So they are able to take gold medals at International Mathematical Olympiad. But what is very interesting are two things. OpenAI, they used some experimental models. We don't know what kind of models, so maybe this is not so mind-blowing, because the specials models, we had them for a lot of time, but Google did it with a really general model. So that's what thing. The model that was not specially prepared for like competing at mathematical Olympiads. And the second thing is that we really put these models into not good environment for themselves. We denied them of any tools. What does it mean? When AI wanted to accomplish something, nowadays it can really resort to using, for example, programming languages. And you can quickly program for themselves some script that will help them to analyze and tackle the problem. But it was denied in this competition. The AI, it could use only it thinking. Yeah? And everything has to be done in natural language. Yeah? So these were these constraints that are not really practical, because in practice, if you want to accomplish something, you give the AI all the tools you can safely give them. So you definitely give them the programming language, so it can analyze the data with scripts and with the programs that they will write for themselves. You will give them internet search. You will give them the library of knowledge, the research articles and everything. So when you can give this to the AI, it is much more powerful. So the AI was robbed of all of this, and still it took the gold medals. It is very, very surprising for me. And I think you will see that it's not only surprising for me, but also for the companies. Because you see, when we started like 2 years ago, there was this GSM 8K benchmark. It was a benchmark to really see how the models perform. And there was some questions from grammar school, like Sarah has 15 apples, gives away 3 apples, buys 8 more. How many apples she will have, and some like these similar questions. I don't know. Matt has 8 apples, and Lucy has 7. Who has more, for example? Yeah. These questions, it was pretty tricky for the early, I mean the year 2023. Yeah? It was tricky for these early language models to understand, and it was a measure how good are they. And then we found out that this benchmark is really not very challenging, because the models were very quickly taking really high scores. So we come with high school mathematics. There was some algebra, geometry, number theory, calculus, problem solving, and so on. And yeah, we thought, yeah, we are safe for some time. No, we weren't. And very quickly, we ran to 100% again. So we needed to create AIME, American International Mathematics Examination. These are Olympiad qualifier level problems requiring skilled mathematicians several hours to solve. Yeah, so we gave, and this is the benchmark that survived, but not today. Because when you look at the models here, you see we started in 2023. And this is this blue, I don't know what's its color, but this is the simple grammar school math. It was very quickly, we were at a very near 100%. So we started with this high school math, but again, not a year, and we were at 100%. So we introduced this really tricky benchmark, but we are again at 100%. So even the companies that created these benchmarks, they want to create something that will last more than 6 months. So even these companies must be surprised what they created, because you don't create a benchmark that is valid only for 6 months. Why would you do it? Yeah? You want something, you will be able to measure your model, the progress, for example, at least 2-3 years, not 6 months. Yeah? So I think even the companies are surprised what they created. And I have some theories, or maybe not theories, even some really good, valid ideas why this happened. But this is a hint for your questions for later, yes, or not to delay the presentation so long. So I will tell you something about the math at our university. So we really started with using artificial intelligence for working with math in 1995. we started using generating testable hypotheses, so we can verify whether the result is correct or not. And then you can see that there is a timeline of research. A lot of research revolved around Wolfram Alpha, and you can see this. The Wolfram Alpha. This is the year 2004, and the year 2004 is like almost 20 years before this ChatGPT time. Yeah. So, and Wolfram Alpha is a big artificial intelligence improvement, but it didn't have so much public attention, I guess. I'm not sure whether there was so much talk about it, but it was something really amazing, because Wolfram Alpha, it was a artificial intelligence that was able to do a lot of mathematical derivations and mathematical work for mathematicians. So it was very interesting to work with it. And then we started with other artificial intelligence ideas up to date. And you have a hint of poster here. It will be presented by Assistant Professor Pospíšil. So if you are interested about this, you can visit him in the poster section. Well, now we move to speech. And it is also a very interesting topic. Here, there is the chart of the performance of the current ASR, it's automatic speech recognition tools. These tools, their task is to take a voice audio signal and transform it into a text. And you can see the success rate is in war error rate. So how many percentage of words in the stream of output words are mistaken? Yeah. So you can see that nowadays we are below 5% of errors in the output, and this is even for a challenging task, like if you have a noise or if you have some elderly people speaking or somebody with disabilities and so on. So the performance is really very good nowadays. What is very interesting for me, maybe you don't see it from this chart, but what is very interesting for me is that here, everywhere here, you have specialized models. Yeah? These are the models that were designed to understand the audio signal and transcribe it to the text. But on the left here, you have a general purpose models. Yeah, these are the models that do a lot of stuff. They can chat with you, they can do a lot of other things, they can program very well, and they can do the math, as I said. So yeah, and these models, by the way, can also very well transcribe audio signal into the text. Yeah, that is very interesting. And I will give you some demonstration. What is the state here in this speech recognition? So I need to turn on the audio so you can hear the audio signal that will be transcribing. So hopefully it will be.
If I'd have been more attentive at school in my early life, I'd have studied more and harder. And although I didn't do too bad in the end. So. But I think the sooner you start studying, the better.
Yeah, so this is not a very easy audio signal to recognize, but it's English, so that's good for the models. And you can see here is the original what was in the audio. And here,
if I'd have...
Okay, so another button, yeah. Here you have the output of these two best models. You have GPT-4o Transcribe and Gemini 2.5 Pro. And you can look how many errors did these models do. Yeah? And it was in the sections where it was very difficult to comprehend what has been said. Yeah, so this is really incredible. But take a look at this audio output.
If I'd have been more attentive at school in my early life. I just studied.
Okay.
Didn't need to go right at the end. But I think the sooner you start studying, the better.
In this audio setup here in this hall, the sound is very, very poorly intelligible for us, but let me tell you, when I was compiling this test for you, this is my own compilation of this test, I was listening to it in my headphones, and I was able to comprehend the text quite okay when I ran it for maybe third or three times. Yeah. But if you try to do it with these models, okay, sorry for that. Yeah, if you try it in the models, you will see some interesting phenomenon. The GPO for transcribed did for my idea is that GPT-4o transcribed did very, very good job, because it extracted really the gist of the text, even from this very difficult audio. It was able to extract the gist. The Gemini 2.5 Pro, it was not so good, yeah, because there is a lot of things that was not in the audio. Yeah, it is really made up. And this is the main problem with these models nowadays, that they make up some stuff. But if you can, the GPT, Gemini 2.5 Pro is a thinking model, so you can look at the thoughts of the model, and you can really see that the model really see that the audio quality is poor. Yeah, and there are some words it was able to grasp, and some other words it wasn't. It's only what we don't see, why the model decided to give us this like nonsense. Yeah, we don't know it. Yeah, but this is somewhere what we have to do. For people, it's really natural to understand the speech, and if you can listen to it in your headphones, because the models they did have really the audio signal not disturbed, directly put into the system, so they were able to really hear it fully and not with this echo in this room. Yeah, so when you really listen it, you don't have trouble to understand most of it. Yeah? I think you will do an even better job that this 4.0 transcribe, much better job. And this is the best model that we can come up. If you compare it to the mathematics, you will think, yeah, it will recognize everything. It will be able to speak to, I don't know, speak to dolphins, speak to dogs, yeah, because when you compare it to this crazy progress in math, the speech, there is a lot of difficulties. And if you visit, we are organizing a conference, it will be shown in other slides. And if you visit these conferences, you see that there is a lot of research in speech. Definitely, there is a lot of papers about speech nowadays. So it is far from solved. Yeah? So some history about speech. The history of speech understanding and later text understanding in the University of West Bohemia is very rich. We started in the 1980s, and then we had some really notable milestones. We really, in 1996, we were able to take an oral dialogue in a noisy environment. So it's something maybe not so noisy as you heard, but it's with some noise. And we were able to really take a dialogue with the system. Then in 2000, in the year 2000, we had a prototype of telephone translator. So you can call someone in, I don't know, for example, German, and translate it to example to French. Yeah, so it was possible in the project Vermobile, and this is like interesting for me because it was the very first project I started working at the university, and everybody who started at the time, we received a some computer and we needed to make it run. Yeah, it was the first task to really see whether we have the guts to be PhD students. Yeah, so it was my first project. But then we have Malach. It's a very interesting project. You will you will hear about it in presentation of my colleague later this day. It is a huge collection of Holocaust survivors, like dialogues, and we can do the specialized speech recognition and semantic searching, so these dialogues are searchable. Then, as a PhD student, my colleague Sido, he was supervised by me, so we created the first big or large language model. Nowadays, I am like a little bit smiling about the word large, because compared to the current language models, it's very tiny. But at the year 2021, it was considered large, and you know it was 2 years before the ChatGPT breakthrough. We did take a lot of good credit for this. And then we have like some research in medicine. I have to also mention the conference. We are organizing a text, speech and dialogue conference at our university, and this is like this year. It was the 28th year of the conference we are organizing for, and we are like switching the organization between our Pilsen crew and Brno crew, and next time it will be the Brno turn, and the year after it will be the 30th year anniversary. So the conference is quite established. It's not really the best of the best, but it's a very good conference with a lot of keynote, with a lot of interesting speakers. I would mention just one. It's Frederick Jelinek, who was the Czech citizen. Originally, he emigrated to the United States, but originally he came from Czech Republic, and he was really very well-known figure in speech recognition. He introduced the statistics into language modeling, and so it was really very interesting time, and he was a lot of years, he was the general chair of this conference. Yeah. So this conference is really important for the artificial intelligence because it has a long history, and it's merging. We have like a lot of companies, a lot of countries. The participant comes from a lot of countries, but mostly from Europe. So we are like really connecting European researchers together, but we also have every time we have someone from Japan, someone from States, and so on. So now something about what is going on today. You see a lot of talk about AGI and ASI. What is it? So AGI is artificial general intelligence, and ASI is artificial superintelligence. We also have something that is not so mentioned today. We have something called artificial narrow intelligence. It was called the old artificial intelligence. Nowadays is renamed to artificial narrow intelligence. Yeah. So this is already here, and I think a lot of you are using artificial intelligence and you don't know about this. If you are using navigation, weather forecast, if you are using translators and so on, so maybe you don't know about this, but a lot of times there is artificial intelligence. For example, even artificial intelligence is used when you are talking to someone over the phone to improve the sound quality. So also there is the artificial intelligence improving it. So there is a lot of, and the artificial intelligence is really superhuman in these areas. You will never be able to set up such a good map in a, such a good road in a map, or do such a good weather forecast with our computers. Yeah? So we have really superhuman artificial intelligence for many years. But what we are driving now, or what the companies are trying to achieve, and they have this goal, and the goal is artificial general intelligence. It's something that will be able to, some intelligence that will be able to do everything. And there is a better definition, and the definition says that the artificial intelligent model will be able to do the same work as a human in most of the economically reasonable tasks. Yeah? So this is something and I think we are safe in this area, because we will have a super intelligence in many areas, but you will see a lot of areas where we will really struggle to go to the human level performance. I don't know, I don't have it here. I have it in, okay, this is a little version of the presentation. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter so much. I also had here in this area, I wanted to introduce the ARC challenge, and it's not good without the images and examples, but the ARC challenge is definitely the same what I am telling you. These are very basic tasks. Human can do them like in seconds. You don't have to be very intelligent to do them in very, very simple tasks. And if you give them to the artificial intelligence, it will definitely fail in this most spectacular way. Yeah, so, and this is like a lot of tasks cannot be handled by the artificial intelligence yet. So I think the route to AGI is very, very far away now. So you don't have to be really afraid that this will happen like tomorrow. But I can be wrong. The progress in artificial intelligence is so fast that you never know. Yeah. So, and what is ASI? ASI is that like AGI on steroids. That the computers, the artificial intelligence is much better than humans in most of the economically viable tasks. So, what is needed to done? I have really 3 topics that personally I think are the areas we need to focus in research. Yeah, so as I said, with the speech, if you trying to recognize the speech and you have troubles to recognize it, you can play it 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and you will be each time you will be able to recognize some more of the words. It doesn't really work for AI like this. You can put the audio signal into the model 100 times, and it will not be much substantially better. Yeah? So this is something that the AI models, there is active research in this. Yeah? So it is able to actively learn from the task it's doing, not in the training phase and then everything is freezed, but really to be able to learn while on the go. And then we have efficiency, and this is connected with privacy, so we don't have to send everything to the cloud. It's very, very dangerous today. And you think these companies, they are giving you their best promises that they are treating your data in most secure way. But if you look at it, well, not so, I wouldn't be so happy about treating the data, because nowadays it's not end-to-end encoded. Yeah, if someone wants, they can intercept your communication with the language model. It's encrypted, yeah, definitely, but there is the end-to-end encryption is not there. It's starting Gemini. If you use the native library, you can turn on the end-to-end protection, but most of the time it's not turned on. Yeah, so best thing is really not to send your data anywhere and be able to process them on the device. And the research is coming there, but still, yeah, these models are so big and so computer hungry that it's not possible to really compute the models on your device. And there is the alignment and trust. Yeah? There is a lot of research done in model alignment. Yeah? So the models, they tell you that they are doing what is best for you, but when you are able to intercept the inner thoughts for the thinking process, you can sometimes see that I am giving the user what he wants to see or hear, because, but I think something different. Yeah. So this is definitely, we need to study the processes that work in these large language models, and we need to establish the trust. So we can really, from the discussion before, I heard some of the ideas. We don't know what's going on in these language models. It's not good. Yeah. So we can say the math is simple. Yeah. We definitely understand the math. Yeah? No worries about there. But there is the effect of like huge computation done in parallel, and there is the era where the understanding is a little bit lost. But we are working on it. We are working on interpretability, so we really know what's happening in the background, so we can really trust the models. Yeah, so the current research. And there is the education. Yeah, education is really hit by. I already heard it in the previous talk. That the education must be updated and must be taken care of in this area of artificial intelligence. And I know it from my personal experience because I am teaching the basic programming course, and I know that. You don't need to do anything. You can just photocopy the assignment, and the artificial intelligence will be able to solve it. You don't have to prompt anything. You don't need to know anything. Just put it as it's. Just take a take the photo of the assignment, and you are done. Yeah. We thought that in advanced algorithmization it will be better. No, it isn't. Yeah, again, 100% success rate. So we are at the University of West Bohemia, we are dealing with it, and the Faculty of Education, they are looking at it and trying to come with some ideas how to work with education in this era. And the last slide, we have other notable projects I received from my colleagues when I asked them to send me some materials about the research they do. So we have Faculty of Mechanical Engineering. They work with reinforcement learning for autonomous navigation. And also we have New Technologies Research Center, and they work on some AI projects to prevent injury in some car accidents. They're creating advanced materials with AI. They are processing infrared images with AI. So there is a lot of research in many departments of the University of West Bohemia. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you very much for your attention, and I am really thrilled about your questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Don't be shy. Come on, we've got 5 minutes for the discussion. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for your brilliant presentation.
Thank you.
Many thoughts in my mind after this presentation. I want to come back to the example of the cars, self-driving cars, because this comes into this very risky domain of AI applied on tools that interact with other physical elements. And well, 2 years ago, I went, in premise, I am a fan of rules. I think that rules, especially in this field, are really important. But 2 years ago, I was in San Francisco, and I seen for the first time in my life this autonomous guide car that was Waymo, not the Elon Musk one. And it looked to work quite well. There are some statistics. The accidents made by these kind of cars are less than human, and I'm aware how many times I'm not so careful by driving on myself. So I come back to the previous speech, What do you think about regulation in this thing? Why we have not this kind of examples in Europe, but we have them in US? And connected to this, I have another, not question, but I would like to put into this discussion the topic of the use of AI for dual use and military purposes, because it is a field in which you apply AI on tools that can make several damages. Thank you.
Thank you for very nice question, and definitely it's something what I was talking about. You know, you have, I think, 2 places where you can now enjoy the fully autonomous drive. I think even in some Austin, Texas, I think even you can order a Tesla and it will drive by itself to your house, if you are in this zone. But this is definitely what I'm talking about. It's not general, definitely, far from general. You have really, I don't know, less than 1,000 or maybe 100% of places where you can use these cars. You can use them really in very limited areas. And yeah, this is something I'm truly really sure that you could do it 10 years ago in really small places. And it was done in small places. The cars, they were driving in factories and moved into factories by themselves, or robots were moving them and robots are driving in factories. So you have this already. It's really the narrow intelligence. So this is the same for regulations. We are not there in technological state yet. So the regulators, I don't blame them. Yeah? This is not really something I would trust, and I don't want to see this, because when an artificial intelligence makes an error, everybody is ready to blame it. Yeah? And so it will really slow the progress, and I'm very happy that these companies are very careful and deploying it very slowly in some closed areas where they are pretty sure that they trained every mouse hole and everything, so they are sure it will perform well. So nowadays, you can try it, you can try the glimpse of the future, but we are still very far away, because there's so small percentage of roads it's allowed to drive, that it's really still the artificial narrow intelligence we already have for many years here. Thank you.
All right, last question.
Thank you. I'm just curious, given that your students can just take a copy of the assignment, feed it to ChatGPT, and get a perfectly reasonable submission to turn in, we're all experiencing that at all of our universities. Are you taking any steps as a university to devise strategies to address that? Maybe pivot in the classroom, think of different ways to assess learning, while at the same time ensuring that your students are developing the skills they need to use artificial intelligence to go on and build careers in whatever paths they're on?
Yeah, thank you. That's an excellent question. I'm currently a member of the Artificial Intelligence Committee at the University of West Bohemia. We are definitely looking into it. It's so fast that our current recommendation is really to focus on your use case and try to really, what current recommendation of our group is really talk to the students. So tell them what they can do, tell them what they cannot do, and try to enforce some of the rules you have. You cannot enforce all of them. Some rules are there so the students know what are the boundaries, but you cannot enforce them. And some rules you can enforce. So what can you enforce? Please enforce. And nowadays we don't have any general recipe. Yeah, everyone needs to study their subject they are teaching and really take a look. But the best recommendation we have, and it's working, really talk to the students. So they know what we want them to do, and they will be cheating. Yeah, this is nothing new. Nowadays, I think it's more fair nowadays. Because I remember when I was studying, if you wanted to do some difficult assignment for programming in C, you had to pay someone. I paid quite a lot. And there were students, they were rich and were able to pay it, and there were students that were not rich and failed the subject. Yeah, and there was a lot of students that did it fair for sure. But it was not fair. It was the question of money. Now it's fair, because everybody can put the assignment to the artificial intelligence if we do it for them. So it's up to the Garant teacher to really work with this. And nowadays it's more on the ice. And I think it makes the matter more fair, yeah? Because when was, I don't know, it was like 5,000 crowns, I don't know how many euro, but it's quite a lot for students. Yeah? It was like, I don't know, 2 or 3 months of living of an average student, and you needed to pay it for the assignment. Yeah? So it was not very frequent. The teachers didn't know about, or maybe they didn't care about so few examples. And these students, they can buy the education, yeah? So it's not, it was not ideal. Nowadays I can say it's better, because everybody can do it. It's not a question of money, yeah? So, and yeah, talk to the students. That's what we come up. I know it's nothing really like Einstein stuff, but I think it's a good advice. So the students really need to know what are your rules, and then it's up to them and up to you, how do you fight with it, but talk to them.
Dr. Konopik, thank you very much for your presentation and for the closure of the keynote session. Now,
thank you.
Now, I'd like to invite you to have a coffee break in the back of the hall. Come back at 3 p.m. for the plenary session. There will be a meeting of 3 bodies of the Alliance here in the hall, down there, monitoring committee, and the rest of the 2 up there, I think, or to the left, yeah. Just check your schedule where you are supposed to be. Thank you, and enjoy the break.
So, hello everyone. I hope you enjoyed the coffee break. And you are ready for our afternoon session. So, we start with our esteemed guest, Francesco Scarcello, who will be starting the speech about working and learning with artificial intelligence in higher education. So it will be a very interesting talk about AI in education. So few words about Francesco. He is the deputy rector at the University of Calabria, and his research interests are in AI, computational complexity, graph and hypergraph theory, constraint satisfaction, logic programming, and knowledge representation, and a lot of other things. So I think we are going to hear a very interesting talk. So thank you, Francesco. The floor is yours.
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Yes, actually, this is a very hot topic. We will see how to work and learn with artificial intelligence with a special focus on higher education. I have to say that this is is based on a joint work across our alliance, because we will present also a report which was prepared by the digitization office of EUPeace, and we prepared a document that you will find at this address. You also have here the mnemonic address, And this is a report about different policies and strategies across Europe regarding the artificial intelligence. And not just for education, but also about working in the universities and more in general for the future of our nations. And we started from a UNESCO survey conducted on more than 400 universities, and then we prepared the questionnaire among the EUPeace Alliance, and we performed an analysis of the different AI policies. But let me start with the artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? We have already seen something, but I even imagine we can think of it as an electric bicycle, because if you see, it doesn't move without your active contribution. We have to stress this. Okay? In order to use AI, use AI in an effective way, of course. We have to exploit our creativity, our active contribution, and in this case, it amplifies very much your abilities, and it requires effort to harness its potential. I have also to say that if we are not good, we can also fall out with a bicycle. Well, this is the same with artificial intelligence. So, artificial intelligence is actually a mix of technologies. It started from the ancient philosophers when we started about how people reason, what is the logic, the common sense logic of people, okay? We are very complex in our way of reasoning, okay? This is very difficult to catch for artificial intelligence. This image, of course, generated by AI, you see Socrates, and you see here something, a Mars Pathfinder, because we contributed with some of our systems to go to Mars with systems based on logics, okay? So not the generative AI we are talking about these days, but an AI that is still among us since many years, for many years. We talked about artificial intelligence in medicine this morning, but we have to think that already some years ago, Nature identified AI as a milestone in the history of medicine for its important contributions for many years, just long before ChatGPT was created. So it's more complex stuff. We used it in many ways. Of course, I cannot talk about every possible applications of AI. I will focus just on some examples that we can easily adapt to our context. So let's start with the ancient AI. So something that we made a few years ago when we had the pandemic, the COVID pandemic. You see here in this image, students have the mask, and there are empty places among the students, so we have to optimize all resources of the university, and we had to schedule, with the help of AI, all possible rooms by considering the actual number of students enrolled in every course, because we had to use rooms only at half of their capacities. So in order to be able to accommodate everything, we have to make a very, very great effort to optimize everything. And we also wanted to be fair. So we also minimized the movements of students in the campus, because another thing that is very important about AI, and we study also this in our research, is how to be fair. So we don't want to just optimize things, but we want that people perceive the solutions as fair for everything, okay? For everyone. And that's a very important point that is very different from global optimization solution where we just optimizing some global functions. Okay, then we have generative AI. Okay, so let's talk a bit about this new revolution and how this revolution impact in our everyday life, in particular in our life as university professors and teachers. So we have many new opportunities, for instance, personalized learning, AI-powered tutoring, and we can have important data-driven insights. So we have really very, very important opportunities now that we have to catch in every possible way. We have the possibility to have an AI, and we are working on that, that adapts to individual paces and styles of students. So for the first time, we have the possibility to have materials, interactive materials that adapt to the different students, okay? This is a reality now, but it requires an effort from our side, as I said. We have the possibility of have intelligent automation. Okay, we can avoid efforts in grading, in giving feedback, and frequently asked question management. We can have continuous support, but first of all, we have the opportunity of stimulate the creativity of students. That's a very important point, and that's a point that requires our effort, our study. We have to be creative in order to help students to be creative in their way, okay? So, I mean, this is an unleashed potential, okay? I just summarize here what is every AI to me is the possibility that everything I've always wanted to do in didactics, in teaching, okay, but never found the time for. I asked the AI to represent this notion, but actually it didn't understand well my notion. You see that I mean something to teach, but he understood that what I wanted to do is go to the sea, making paracaidism, singing on a beach, and so on. Okay, but apart that, we are not perfect still. So let's go with some example. Okay, so I focus on some practical example that every one of us may use in her experience, okay? And I focus on, general purpose instruments. I mean, I will also give different examples, but I will focus on that. So let's see how we can create interactive teaching materials to be more engaging towards students, okay? So one instrument is this one. This is an instrument that will help us in learning database theory, but this is a specialized one. Let's focus on a general purpose instrument, ChatGPT. So, for instance, consider the problem of teaching fundamentals of programming, as in the example we mentioned this morning. So I asked, for instance, ChatGPT to give me some interactive page to explain the for loop. Okay? A very difficult problem in people that learn how to program is how to deal with repetitive instructions. Okay? And it immediately generates an interactive page, so something that the students can test, can try, can figure out what happens if R changes something, and so on. And this page can be plugged in these very common tools that we use in our universities. This is Moodle, which is a very famous learning management system. And you can put in Moodle some web pages, okay? You can embed HTML pages. So directly you get an interactive stuff that you can plug in your Moodle framework, okay? And you can think of these interactive activities in every kind of subjects, of course. I mean, this is an example in programming, but you can figure out anything else. Also, you can build stuff for having personalized explanations. And in this case, I suggest to use Notebook LM, which is a tool by Google. I don't know if all of us know that, but this is very important because you can put here hundreds of sources, all the materials of your course, web pages, link to YouTube pages, and so on. And then you can have direct explanations using your specific material. Okay? So students can easily work and scan the material of the course and get personalized questions, ask questions, and so on. So this is very important. It is not creative as ChatGPT, but it is very, very precise. Okay, what is the current landscape? Well, the situation is students use AI, but they are not taught on how to use AI in an effective way. So we have to improve this fact. We have a kind of paradox. You see the so-called catch-22 paradox? I mean, this is a kind of joke, a paradox, no? Clause 21, a crazy person may ask to be excused from flying. Clause 22, a person to ask to be excused from flying is not crazy, okay? So this is the circular way of reasoning. And we're having this problem now. Why? What happens? It happens that students use AI without proper knowledge, but AI use requires proper knowledge to be effective. And that's why we, as professors, has to act. How? We have to change paradigm. We have to move from traditional approach when we go from general theory and then accessibility to follow directives. So our assessment are studied to verify if the students has the ability to follow our instructions. This is not good now. We have to change stuff. We have to come from, we have to start with theory, and we have to force students to discuss theory and practice with AI. They must be forced to ask AI to help them in testing our theory, okay? So what we teach them. So there are some available courses that explain how to use that. This is an experiment made with the programming, teach computer science with AI.org. There are different courses. It was tested that students that used the AI by design in the course was more able to learn how to program with respect to a comparison class, a test class that did not use AI. Why that? Because students using AI by design, guided by the professor, was able to overcome the initial troubles with the language, okay? Because they have troubles with the scientific language, with the language of programming. And now, with these tools, we have the possibility to avoid that. So going to the conclusion, I have to recall that in the document, you will find that there are policies. We analyzed all the national approaches to AI, and you see that Italy, France, Germany has specialized strategies for AI, where France is more focused on sandboxes to test AI. Germany is a decentralized approach, while Italy gives AI Decalogue, provides practical day-to-day guidance for using AI. You will find all these analyses in the document that we have prepared, so I have not the time now to focus on that, but we have also a number of best practice. So for instance, in Germany, the OKI platform, and also a French University Industry Alliance. In Italy, we developed an LLM, an Italian LLM. This morning, we also heard about a Czech LLM. What is important is that the prevailing attitude in the policies is to be permissive or neutral. So all the universities that we analyzed learned that it is important to be not restrictive. So the policies are towards be proactive and permissive. The key is human responsibility, of course. All policies address AI usage in student learning and teaching, but just the problem is that we analyzed it, we discovered that administrative use of AI is underrepresented in these policies, so we have the opportunity to improve on this part. Thanks.
Yeah, it's working now. So thanks, Francesco, for a very inspiring speech. And I think there will be a lot of questions because it was a very interesting and up-to-date topic. So do we have any questions from the public, from the audience? Don't be shy. Okay, you have one question. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for your presentation. It was very insightful. And yeah, my name is Denis Tkachев, and I'm a PhD student of University of Limoges. And my question is, so while you described the advantages of use of artificial intelligence in education, I would say that if not the main, but very crucial challenge is the use of artificial intelligence for composing all the reports, all the materials, and so on. So this, how could you, or how you deal with that, with the misuse, I would say, of artificial intelligence for developing papers, developing reports, and so on. So as for me, is a real challenge for use artificial intelligence in the higher education. Thanks a lot in advance for your answer.
Yes, thanks for your questions. Of course, this is a very crucial. This is a very crucial question. But I think, and I put this on this slide, the misuse of artificial intelligence, in a sense, is something that you can discover easily. Because if you see documents that are written by artificial intelligence without a knowledge, without the creativity of the people, you can immediately discover it. So artificial intelligence is an amplifier. If you put with creativity, if you know how to write things, if you know you expect to be written, you can really get great results. But here, if you just use it in a superficial way, you get something that is very, very easy to detect. I mean, it's something that is not good. So it's, I mean, we must know that we should be centered people, knowing that our roots, our knowledge is key in using artificial intelligence very well, okay?
So the creativity is still under the human being?
Yes, definitely.
Okay,
creativity,
thanks.
Our creativity, and we can, we have the opportunity to exploit it in a unprecedented way, okay? It's very good, but I mean, it's just a tool. a very powerful tool, but just a tool.
As you said, electric bicycle. Absolutely agree with you. Thanks a lot for your explanation.
Thank you. Thank you for a good question. Yeah, we have another question. Yeah, here. The colleague will give you.
Hello, Giuseppe Rossi. I'm from University of Calabria, and I contributed to the report Francesco Scarcello was mentioning. Well, I'm add something to answer to your question, because the experience of working on these policies was was interesting for many things, but I will mention two of them. The first one is that policies are not just documents. Policies are important because they are a tool to turn policies into a process and allow people, students and teachers, and also staff, that's a key point that emerged, to be more aware and to know how to use properly those tools. So you don't have only to write a university policy, but to imagine how you can support it with. The second point is that the EUPeace community appears, let's say, above the average with respect to the university scenario. Let's say more than half the EUPeace partners have policies and tools, and all the others are somehow active on these topics. So the questions you were posing are questions that can be answered also sharing experience and material within the EUPeace partner itself. So a question to Francesco and to all of us is if EUPeace could drive its current activities also partly, let's say staff exchange or the course catalogs or teachers training, to include materials or things that could be useful to manage, possibly to devise policies where this could be useful, and also to share tools and materials to manage the use of AI.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pino. Yes, definitely. This is a very important point. I think that we have the opportunity to share best practice, to share policies. This alliance is a great opportunity for all of us to exploit in a very good way these new tools. So, for instance, I created a page here with Notebook LM with all the sources that was analyzed. You have hundreds of policies, hundreds of documents regarding different strategies. And now we have the opportunity to navigate very easily all those documents, to get the key points and to share easily among us. So, but we can make even more with the best practice that all of us use in our universities. We have to find a good point to share all of this in order to leverage our alliance in the best way.
Yes, thank you. I think it is a very good idea for this platform, really, to share materials and best practices. I think all of the universities will have something to offer. So it's very, very good idea, I think. Thank you. Do we have any more questions? We have time for one more question. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Laurent Fourcade from Limoges, France. Thank you for your speech. It was very impressed. Have you the experience of the use of learning analytics? Because you told us that you use the LMS Moodle, and Moodle will generate a lot of learning analytics. And in the medical faculties, we are using these learning analytics to create a model of pedagogy, personalized pedagogy for the student. And by this way, the teacher has to be focused on the students who are doing bad and the students who are doing well, it's not a matter to discuss with them. So have you got any experiences with the use of the learning analytics generated by Moodle and the model of AI to use these data?
Thanks. I think it's a very good experience that we can surely look at. And I think that, I mean, we are working on something that is based on agents. We are looking to some personalized assistants based on different agents that look at the history of the interactions with among professors and students in order to adapt in an automatic way the behavior. For instance, in learning foreign languages, but the tool is general enough to be applied to different ways. But what you say is very important. I mean, I also stressed in some way in the presentation that the methodological way is the key. So what you say is very important. We have to learn how to deal with this stuff as professors.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
thank you very much.
May I ask a very short question?
Yeah, just 1 more minute, please.
Did you generate your slides with artificial intelligence?
Which one?
I don't know, all.
The first one. This?
I don't know, all your slides.
How many slides did you generate?
I don't know. What?
No, it was a crazy question.
This?
Yes, so some pieces of the slides, right? Yeah, I think we all use it. But sometimes I think it's better to start on our own. So thank you for very nice questions. Thank you for your presentation and for the discussion. It was very inspiring. And one more clap for Francesco, please. So thank you very much. And now let me welcome here Sofia Herrscher. She is from Marburg University. And she will be talking about language, AI, and AI literacy.
I don't know.
So,
and yours is this one.
Yeah, preparing.
I think it's the corrected version. Yeah, I will see.
I lost some of my papers here.
All right.
And there is your presentation device.
Is it my turn yet? Okay. Hi, I'm Sophia, and today I'd like to talk to you about talking about AI. Normally, I work at the University of Marburg as an instructional designer, helping people using digital tools in their teaching. But in my free time, I'm a hobby linguist and metaphor researcher, and I'm in the process of publishing a little contribution right now. We're entering the peer review phase currently, and when I saw that so many conferences were about AI in education, I thought maybe I could also contribute a little bit from my linguistic research to what we're doing right now. I don't have to tell you that AI threatens global justice, peace, inclusivity, and sustainability. You all know that. That's why you're here. And I also think that the reasons for that are obvious enough and don't have to repeat it. But I still would like to know from you, who here has said please to an AI chatbot before? You can be honest, that's pretty much what I expected. You were probably told to do that in some prompting course or whatnot. Yeah. So, Francesco has already pointed out the importance of having a good understanding and a reflective usage of AI in education. And this is basically what my contribution is about as well, but from a different angle. So the starting situation for me was that some authors have complained that anthropomorphizing AI can lead to misunderstandings of the functionality and resulting misguided usage of the technology. An anthropomorphism is when you ascribe human attributes to a non-human thing. And so my question as a linguist is speaking about Gen AI appropriately an essential part of AI literacy? So this is where my task as an instructional designer and as a linguist basically cross over. And also, I'm wondering which consequences can we as educators draw from such linguistic findings? The theoretical background for this work is conceptual metaphor theories, which has been started in the 1980s, and I've also consulted a bit of frame semantics for my research. I will spare you with all of the linguistic details, also because I only have 15 minutes. But the core idea of this line of theory is that there is a strong interplay of language and thought. That means that by looking at language, we can gain insight into what it is that we understand of the world, or in this case, of ChatGPT. A very prominent example of this line of theory is my theory is built on a solid foundation. This would be indicative of the conceptual metaphor theories are buildings. And in the same vein, the metaphor computer programs are intelligent people with independent wills has been established in the 1990s already. So why is it a problem if we anthropomorphize AI? So first of all, anthropomorphism seems to be prevalent. We have anthropomorphism in the design, for example, when the bot says I or says it is reasoning. Also, we have the general anthropomorphism of computers, and obviously we as users are doing it constantly. And the authors worry, the authors I've mentioned previously, worry that this results in increased trust in the output and the functionalities, which are often called abilities, of AI. This could also lead to a diffusion of responsibility and the usage of the systems for things that they weren't designed for. So in order to find out whether or not there's something to this speaking about AI, the first step will be to determine if anthropomorphism is prevalent in the way that we talk about it, and what is anthropomorphism actually used for. And secondly, which consequences can we draw from that as educators? So first off, I'd like to say a little bit about the work with corpora that I did in order to give you a bit of an insight. So why would we look at corpora? A corpus is a massive collection of language data, and it is authentic language data. So it isn't language that is constructed just for the purpose of having a corpus, but it is data that's actually out there. In my case, I used the NOW corpus, which is the abbreviation for news on the web. And this is actually very helpful because news are something that is still considered an important source of information for many. And also, I looked at personifications specifically because I wanted to analyze anthropomorphism. So in general, we can say that we use corpora to support our intuitions about language use, and especially in metaphor theory, we do it to see whether or not the conceptual metaphors that we come up with are actually out there in the language data. So what you see in the picture is actually what I saw in the concordancer when I worked. So these are the constructions of ChatGPT plus any verb. And I looked at the 100 most frequent verbs, indicating 4,000 concordance lines. And what I found is that in these 4,000, just over 4,000 examples from 2022 to 2024, 50% of all these sentences found in the news were actually personifications. And they were mostly used to describe the output and interaction people had with it. This suggests that personifications are used to to describe the output, and also that there is some kind of knowledge that ChatGPT has and understanding. Now let's look at some examples from the data set. The first one is a very prominent case. You might have heard of it, the lawyer who used cases that were AI generated to argue in court. I don't know, maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. This was actually very prominent in the data because it was discussed a lot. This ChatGPT made up means that ChatGPT is supposed to be creative here, right? And it also shows the consequences that such an unreflected use of AI output can have. Another example, ChatGPT knows what fact-checking means. I would argue ChatGPT knows nothing, okay? So I think this is a very good example of showing how we might confuse the facts and data that we input into a system with actual knowledge that the system does not really have. Yet another interesting example is ChatGPT refused to write a poem about Donald Trump. I mean, we can like it or not that it does that or it doesn't do it, but in the end, what it says here is that ChatGPT has volition, that it decides to do this or not, when in fact we know that this is some kind of rule set that is underlying. And finally, the example of ChatGPT recommended also shows where our advertisement industry is heading next. So these are only 4 examples of more than 2,000 that I found, which attribute agency, volition, and creativity to a chatbot. So we might ask, well, what's the problem? Well, I have another overview for you to say that. So we have 2 things in our minds at the same time. On the one hand, anthropomorphism suggests that generative AI can be trustworthy, understandable, knowledgeable. And on the other hand, we have ChatGPT as a computer. And as a computer, it is neutral, fact-oriented, and rational. So it's a dream come true, right? Now we have the super smart colleague who is knowledgeable, and we can have conversations with him or her, and they understand us, and they only want our good, and they will always be available, right? Well, at the risk of being a killjoy, I would say no, because personifications are only one example of how language interacts with the mental concepts that we have. And it isn't ChatGPT making recommendations for shopping sites or refusing to write poems about Donald Trump, but it is the people who are responsible for the training data and the rule sets behind it. And calling generative AI a partner, study buddy, or tutor attributes to this attribution of agency and knowledge. And this is not only inappropriate, but potentially dangerous when we remember the threats that I have posted in the beginning. So we could just stop anthropomorphizing AI, right? Would that be the solution? Well, no, because de-anthropomorphizing AI is easier said than done. Often we don't have de-anthropomorphized terminology because personifications have been used in the context of technology for a long time, and it is natural for us to conceptualize of non-human things in terms of humanness when we have abstract things in front of us. Also, personifications are often easier to understand and less clunky, and they are everywhere. They're even in the research that's being done on the use of ChatGPT in the educational context. If you want, we can have a look at that later. And as we've seen in the beginning, prompting courses also tell us to anthropomorphize it, to be polite with it, use emotional language, or even threaten it to generate better output. And lastly, but definitely not leastly, if we use ChatGPT for some kind of feedback scenario, it actually does improve the feedback to have this human interaction, because this is how humans work, right? With the social aspects and being together and having well-formulated, nicely, well-meaning feedback. So we now have a clash. We have a clash of, on the one hand, the threat of putting too much trust in the output and using it in the wrong way, and on the other hand, the way that the output can be improved by anthropomorphisms. If we remember now why we are here, it's about AI literacy, right? So what is AI literacy if, on the one hand, we might understand it wrong and also use it in a less than ideal way, and on the other hand, using anthropomorphism to improve the output? I'm not sure yet what the final answer will be to this, but right now it looks to me like it's both. So we as educators have to know when to use such language, when to address the bot as a person, for example, when we try to get better output, and when not to do that. And one important aspect of our language as educators are tasks. So I want to make a few proposals on how we can use de-anthropomorphized language in the way that we design tasks in order to maybe contribute a little bit to a better understanding and reflective usage of generative AI. So first off, I think we should always emphasize the active role of the users. The example here would be not to say, have ChatGPT improve your style, but rather say, use a system to improve your style. And you can see that here it is the user who's doing something, who's using it as a tool, rather than the tool taking over. Also, we can come up with tasks that use the tool for its original purpose. For example, text generation and not information gathering. So one example task could be use a generative AI system to change the register of a text, for example, reformulate the text for a primary school kid. Okay, so here we have actual text generation as the task for the bot as well as the student. And finally, we can promote the interaction with the output. I think Francesco already mentioned that. So a task after the register one could be now mark the changes by which you determine that this text is now more intelligible. In the same way, we could also have comparison tasks or have, when it comes to bias, we can have a task like write a poem and then see if you can find the hints in the poem what kind of biases might be prevalent in the training data. So in summary, we can say the linguistics findings support that anthropomorphism can lead to a wrong understanding of generative AI and unwarranted trust and misguided usage. This first study only looked at whether or not anthropomorphism is prevalent. The next step will be to look at actual usage data to see if this way of communication in the news will actually lead to certain ways of using the AI. But when it comes to saying, yes, it is prevalent. And also, talking about AI in a specific way is part of AI literacy. And de-anthropomorphizing AI is not easy, but teachers can emphasize the active role of students as users and focus on actual functionalities. And in order to take an active role in contributing to future development, we should not hand our agency over to a chatbot. Thank you.
Thank you for very nice and inspiring speech. It remembers me my colleague who long before ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, he talks with his computer all the time. And it apparently helps him with his work, so definitely good topic for this this event. So, are there any questions regarding regarding the topic of the speech? Okay.
Thank you for the talk. I think it was very nice, and I agree with the, let's say, 99% of what you have said, that anthropomorphization could be dangerous. But I have one slightly provocative question. Emily Bender and people like her are keen on saying that the computer or ChatGPT or any other artificial intelligence system is not able to understand the language. How do you measure this ability? Or how, to put it differently, how can you say that the person you are having a dialogue with really can understand what you are saying, really fully understand? Not fully, but at least to some extent understand. And how can you be sure that the artificial intelligence cannot understand it?
So just that I get your question right, you're asking, like, if I compare a conversation with ChatGPT to a conversation with a person, how do I know that the person understands me? Well, I don't. But I know that ChatGPT does not understand me because it's a machine.
Okay. Okay, how is it different? If you don't know whether the person understands, so shouldn't I stop anthropomorphizing the other person as well?
You don't need to anthropomorphize a human being because a human is already human.
That's true. Okay, thank you.
I think this discussion is like getting the heat. So does anyone want to join? Do you have any ideas about like making computers, treating them as living person? Or do you think it's harmful? Do you think it's a good thing? Do you have any idea about this topic? I think it can be really dangerous, because, especially for our young ones. I agree with you that, that there are also, I've heard some studies that some users of ChatGPT became dependent, like found his love partner in ChatGPT and so on. So I think there are really risks. Yes, yeah, you have a question? Oh, sorry. You have the microphone behind you.
Thank you, Sofia. It was very eye-opening, actually, for me too. I'd like to go back to Chala's question this morning, not this morning, but in the previous section, asked about the clinicians, physicians, or doctors, or AI reading the radiological some stuff, etc. And this is very important what you say in terms of anthropomorphism.
Yeah, that's a difficult word.
You can say personification.
Personification, yeah, okay.
Can you please stand up for the camera?
What do you think about that? Yeah, I'd like to hear about that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very important question, because you reminded me that I forgot to mention something very essential. I'm focusing on text generative AI in my research, and I'm not talking about any other kind of AI, like discriminative AI systems, which are very helpful in the medical field, as I understand. So this is about chatbots, basically, okay? Tools that will generate you text based on stochastics, like putting words into an order based on what they learned in their training data. So, for example, I would not recommend using a chatbot to find literature for your research field, but maybe you can find good literature in a well-built database, which may have some AI support, but then it's a different thing. Then it's not text generative AI anymore. So thanks for reminding me and giving me the opportunity to clarify this.
Yeah, thank you, Sofia, for your talk. It was very inspiring. And now let me welcome my colleague, Pavel Irsing, who is an associate professor at the Department of Cybernetics at the University of West Bohemia. And he is like a long-standing researcher in speech recognition and text understanding. And he will be talking about inclusive AI at our university, at the University of West Bohemia. How do we make AI beneficial and accessible to different communities? So the floor is yours, Pavel, and please.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everybody.
And I would like to thank first for having me here, and also I would like to thank the speakers before me, because this way I don't have to argue that there are many, thanks to Professor Scarcello, I don't have to argue that there are many types of artificial intelligence, not only chatbots. And thanks to Dr. Konopik, I don't have to argue that we have a lot of history researching AI at the University of West Bohemia. So I would like to show you concrete projects that we are dealing with today. And it's what they have in common, I think, is they make people's lives easier, at least to some extent. And sometimes, as you will see, they even make animals' lives easier, if you can say so. So, okay. So first of them is concerned with the text-to-speech synthesis, which is kind of the opposite task to speech recognition. So it converts text, written text, into speech. And you are not going to impress anybody with the speech, synthesized speech nowadays. But it can, if you are doing it in a clever way, it can actually help people to regain their voice, their own voice, after, for example, vocal cords surgery. After they have some neck surgery, they might lose their own voice. And using text-to-speech system is a natural way of regaining the voice as such. But if we are able to personalize their voice using just a small amount of data they have recorded before the surgery, it will help them a lot, at least psychologically. Okay, so that's one example. Another example is, again, the speech recognition. And we have developed a system for live TV subtitling for the national Czech broadcaster, Czech television. We are actually doing it for more than 12 years now. So it's not the same system. We are always using the newest, the state-of-the-art system. But we already have a long tradition of doing it. So there are actually two ways how to do it. If the speech is, if there is just one person speaking, you can have just a fully automatic system, just run the speech recognition, and you get very nice subtitles. But imagine that there is a lively political or heated political debate, then it's really difficult because people are cross-talking and jumping in each other's sentences. So even for that, we have, let's say, a technology, because we are using something that is called a shadow speaker. So we have a speaker there who is listening to the messy audio track, and the rest speaks it so that we can recognize automatically the clean speech. So another task is, okay, the animation is working, that's nice, is of course the sign language processing. So you can imagine easily that this is going to be a big help for deaf people, for hearing impaired people. And there are actually a couple of technologies involved in this, including large language models, but not used as a chatbots, but used for the understanding in the recognition part of the sign language system. And then we can synthesize the motions using motion capture and rule-based sign generation. What I would like to mention here is that one of our colleagues, Dr. Malek Hrus, led a research team devoted to sign LLMs, or using LLMs for sign language, at Johns Hopkins University last year. And this is the very university where Professor Jelinek, that Dr. Konopik mentioned, was spending his last couple of years, actually. Okay. What I said is that sometimes we make even animals' lives easier. So I'm not so sure about that, but still what's true is that we are developing the tools that can re-identify, that's the technical term, that means that we are able to not only recognize the species of the animals, but the concrete animals. So we can monitor, for example, the migration of the sea turtles, or to stay in Czech Republic, the migration of the lynxes at the Šumava mountains. And our colleagues actually made those models and working pipelines available at GitHub. So anybody with enough knowledge how to do it can reuse these trained models and these tools to build their own system for their preferred animal. Okay, in the not so wild setting, we can also monitor the bee colonies, and we have actually set it up, the bee colonies at the department, at the Faculty of Applied Sciences, and there is a monitoring system that can detect the diseases of the bees, population dynamics, or even the emergency conditions such as swarming. And similarly, there is a plant and animal species identification used in the apps that are freely available on Google Play or other repositories, when anybody can use and download to their phone and use it to recognize the fungi or recognize different snakes to say whether they are dangerous or not. Okay. Here is another topic which is related to medicine. And another colleagues were developed the tools that support biomedical research. The Department of Surgery here is specialized on liver surgery. So Dr. Jiřík, one of our colleagues, have developed a system, well actually a couple of systems that can analyze various images of liver and help the surgeons to decide what is the best treatment in the individual situations. And also there is a tool that can help with online teaching or surgical suturing in cooperation with the Chennai University Hospital. There is another project which is interesting. And it deals with the early diagnosis of dementia. It's well known that some Alzheimer's disease early stages or other dementia early stages are manifested in the speech of the patients. Well, first on the speech, but second in the language itself. So there are various tasks where people describe a scenery on the picture, and the way they describe the scenery helps to diagnose, or rather to say pre-diagnose, whether they are in the early stages, for example, of Alzheimer's disease. Actually, for this project, we have 2 posters in the lobby, so there are more details if you are interested. There's another project, again, related to the medical area, where we have a system, or our colleagues at the Department of Information Science actually have a system that is able to run through the report that the doctors routinely write for the patients and for the hospital system, and to summarize it and actually code the diagnosis in a nice and let's say systematic way. So it basically turns whatever is on the left into the right, into the table on the right. Okay, it's related to it as well. And also there is a system for processing the historical documents. I will be talking about more system for processing the historical documents, but this is one particular kind of historical documents, which is the cadastral map. And it's not so easy to scan the map and then really automatically detect the boundaries and important points. So there is a quite sophisticated tool for doing that. As Dr. Konopík already said, we are also pre-training the large language model for Czech. We are doing it not only for the natural language, but also for the speech. So we are doing our own, let's say, again, state-of-the-art large language model, specially designed for speech. And it turns out that even though the general purpose models are working very well for speech as well, for some niche domains, like processing the oral histories, which I will get to in the next few seconds, it's still better to really use the in-domain data, use the specialized data, and build a system specially tailored to the task at hand. And this is, And this is something which is kind of not my project only, but this is something I have been at from the very beginning. It's the searching in the large audiovisual archives, in the large archives of first oral history. So we have several archives that contain the recordings, for example, of the Holocaust survivors. So there are tens, even hundreds of thousands of hours of the testimonies given by the Holocaust survivors and recorded originally to the VHF tapes and then digitized. It was really hard to find anything in them. But we are working on this for 25 years already. So as the systems or algorithms for processing speech and natural language progressed, we have built better and better speech recognition systems. We have also built better and better information retrieval systems or the search system. So let's say 15 years ago, we were able to find the words that somebody said in the interview in the automatic transcript of the audio track. Now you can actually ask about the concept and it will find the passages from the videos where this particular concept is discussed. So I don't know if the QR codes can work on this distance, but anyway, I can, if you send me an email, I can send you those links that are here and you can try it for yourself. And we have several of those systems. Actually, two of them are for the oral histories. One is the Holocaust testimonies. The other is the testimonies of the Czechoslovak citizens that were persecuted during the communist era. And also recently, well, it have been already 5 years, but we have started to process not only the speech recordings, but also the scanned documents from the Czech and mostly Ukrainian archives. So in a similar vein, you can type a word or query or short sentence in the system, and it will find you the mention of that query in the scanned documents. It's not working on a semantic level yet, but we are getting there. Okay, so that was the technical part, but I promised that I will also advertise, or let's say our master students program here. We have interdisciplinary study program which is called Philosophy for Artificial Intelligence. As I said, it's a master student program, which is, they say, it's like 60% philosophy and 40% computer science, which is roughly correct. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to teach mostly the students with philosophy or other humanities background the basic algorithms or basic principles of the machine learning, of the large language models, of the technical stuff, so that they are able to know the possibilities and limitations of those technologies, and they can see that the future is probably not so bright as we technical people sometimes like to say. But on the other hand, we try to tell them that it's not so grim as some people also say. Okay, that's it for me. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Pavel. I think there will be a lot of questions regarding these topics. There was a lot of topics covered. So if you are interested in any of the projects Pavel mentioned or about the study program, feel free to ask. Pavel will be happy to. Yes, we have a question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this very interesting overview. I have one question. You mentioned, or the topic was inclusive AI. So when it's about inclusivity, so there's kind of this ethical, normative dimension. Do you have this kind of systematically in the masters or in the work you are doing here at University of West Bohemia? Because I think it's very important to do this kind of systematically. Thank you.
Okay, what I do personally in my research work and my colleagues are doing in the research work is not very much considering the ethical issues, to be frank. But in the master's program, we are really trying to teach people how to think about it, and hopefully those are the ones which will be doing the research in the ethical area. The title was a little bit, advertising, because my point was that using even the purely technical approach to AI can help people to be included. For example, people that are deaf and can use the sign language synthesizer, or maybe the web pages, government web pages can use this synthesizer to include people that are not really able to communicate using standard language. So that's the way it's inclusive. It's not inclusive in the design per se.
Thank you for a good question, and I think it was a clarification of the topic.
Thanks a lot. It was really very interesting, your practical experience, first of all. And I do support your approach of inclusivity. Actually, it's also my hypothesis for my PhD research. I mean that AI could make local democracy and participatory processes more inclusive. And but my question will be a bit tricky, maybe, because I would like to hear from you where do you see the threats? Yeah, so what could be the disadvantages of using AI in making these processes more inclusive? Are there any at your point of view? Thanks a lot.
Very interesting question.
Yeah. I'm just thinking whether this is in this research. Well, it could be. Well, generally, we should really not rely, but everybody will tell you that, we should not rely on AI with our human confirmation, human feedback. So it's true in all this stuff, especially in the medical domain. You shouldn't trust it at all. Of course, I didn't mention the things that are real, immediate danger of AI, like well, it's actually connected with the text-to-speech, because we are seeing the scams using the same technology.
Yeah, the voice cloning.
Yeah, the voice forgery and voice stealing. So that's a clear threat that is not in the future, it's here now. So maybe we should not let this technology freely available. I don't know.
The genie is out of the bottle, so yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we should be careful in all this, and especially in the medical domain. That's
yes. I think we have to educate definitely in this area. Any other questions? We have time for one last one.
There's one.
Yes. We will give you microphone.
Professor Incerk, firstly, I would like to thank you very much for all topics you have mentioned. I'm Romana Sucha from the University of West Bohemia in Pilsen, and I'm very much interested in the project God Forever. And especially I'm interested in the ethical aspect of this project, because maybe some of you know that Karel Gott was a very famous Czech singer, famous especially in Germany. And thanks to your project, you were able to use the synthetic voice of him based on hundreds of hours that were registered by Czech TV maybe also, or the radio, Czech radio.
Czech radio. Yeah.
Radio, and you made possible to publish, or I don't know, to make a spoken book of him spoken by his artificial voice.
Yeah,
and I wonder how you could deal with all ethical aspects, because this was produced by or broadcasted by the Czech radio some years after his death, right? So I wonder how you could deal with these ethical aspects about this project. Thank Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, because interestingly, this is the most safeguarded project of all of our projects, because it was carefully, everybody was carefully negotiated with both the authorship right owners and the family of Karel Gott. So we cannot really put it freely on the web so that anybody can synthesize Karel Gott's sentences. Absolutely not. So every synthesized sentence was approved mostly by the family. So this is actually an example of a good practice how to deal with the rights, both person rights and the authorship rights.
Yeah, I think it's a good example for reasonable use of AI, definitely. Thank you. So, thank you for all the questions. It was a very interesting discussion. Thank you, Pavel, again. Please, one more clap for Pavel. Thank you. And now, please, welcome Sergio Gaunca. I don't know. Difficult surname. Sergio Gauken, I hope. I didn't mispronounce your surname so much badly. But he's a very esteemed guest from the Amazon company. So he's from the industry. He is a network manager at Amazon. And his research interests are in media, society, how data-driven system influence public opinion. It's a very, very important thing that we can now, with this AI, influence public opinion. So he will be talking about trust, inclusiveness, critical thinking, and in digital information environments. So I think there are some technical issues with the presentation. Yeah. Okay. So the name of presentation is Political Horizon. So, thank you.
Hello everybody. So I will be presenting Political Horizon, a web application that has been part of my final thesis that has the aim of mitigating bias in political news recommendation systems. So here's a brief table of contents of what I'm going to talk about. Introduction, motivation, background, state of the art, objectives, methodology, results, and final conclusions. So as an introduction, where are we in terms of political news in this digital age? No? So digital platforms and social media are heavily involved now in how society and people consume information. And this has led to a lot of type of bias recommended systems, because these systems learn from custom content, and they tend to deliver personalized content to each user, leading to some bias. So these systems can amplify biases, reinforcing pre-existing beliefs and limiting the exposure to other types of standpoints. So the motivation behind this project is to build a system that combines personalization together with diversity in terms of delivering political content in news recommended systems. So who would benefit from this? Researchers, students, institutions that want to amplify and not be stuck in a solely a perspective, but to broaden their content and get another perspectives. No? So in terms of the state-of-the-art techniques, news recommender systems can be either from collaborative filtering or content-based filtering. So content-based filtering is based on the content. So news recommender systems will be recommending systems with similar content to the one the user is interested in. The problem behind this is that if user is only interested in one specific type of content, the algorithm will only recommend that type of content without recommending any other type of content that is maybe not too different, but will be stuck in that single position. Collaborative filtering is based on what other users or what other users' items like, and it can be model-based, that is a more machine learning AI perspective, where models like singular value decomposition or Bayesian personalized ranking work with, or a memory-based one that is either user-based or item-based. So user-based, if user A likes product 1 and 2, if user A has a connection with user B, and user B also likes product A, the product B will be also recommended to him because both users have a connection. Item-based, on the other hand, is based on the connection between items. So if one user likes product A and B, if another user likes product A, it will be highly possible that product B gets recommended to this user. Hybrid filtering tends to combine the best of all worlds, the best of content-based filtering and the best of collaborative filtering. The most important part of this project is identifying the types of bias there are in news recommender systems. These are all of the biases that exist in this type of algorithms. There are a lot of biases, very complex. The most important one, for example, is popularity bias. It's a content that it's one of the biases that social media, newspapers, or other custom recommender system use, is that a news or a content is very popular. The algorithm behind that tends to viralize this content, disregarding other content. So if one content is very viral, it tends to get more clicks, and other perspective might be disregarded or not taken into account. There are also position bias, where the news is placed in the page, or the content is placed. So content placed at the top or shown at the first page of when you search in the browser will be highly more recommended than content that is not that viewed. And also exposure bias, as more content gets recommended, the least exposed content will be disregarded. The techniques behind this to try to solve these type of biases are also very numerable. We have hybrid recommender systems that try to combine the best of both worlds, and we have also in the training phase inverse propensity weighting and adversarial laning that are going to try to fix these biases from the training phase of the model and the data, because if we are working with a biased data, we cannot do anything to train a diverse and a controlled exposure model. And there are also other techniques, for example, the last three, that are going to try to fix these type of biases, implementing other types of techniques that are in the model inherent. So the primary objectives of this project was to create the application, that is Political Horizon, and content-based system that with engagement signals of the users recommends custom content, but also politically diverse content. So if a user, for example, identifies as being from the center, so liking content from the political leaning center, it will try to recommend also other views from the left and from the right. To try to achieve this, the specific goals were to create the two models that this application has. The first one is Horizon Explorer, that has the model itself that recommends the news with the bias mitigation techniques, and a Horizon Balance that aims to create a balanced report of the news consumption behavior of the users and how the reading time is distributed between the different political outlets the user is reading. So from this project, three main research questions are raised. That are, how can a hybrid recommender model integrate bias-aware techniques together with preserving accuracy and personalized content? How can a news recommender system be designed to expose users to a variety of political diverse viewpoints while minimizing ideological silos and bubbles? And can all of these be integrated into a single application that a day-to-day user can use? So the methodology is composed of 4-stage steps that involve doing an exploratory data analysis with the data and also developing both modules and the system development. So the data that has been used to train Political Horizon is the Polusa Balance dataset. That is a very popular dataset containing news from the United States. That has categories such as header, title, subset, the clear political leaning of the newspapers. So with this data, what we have done is to clean the data, tokenize the data, removing stop words that are common words that do not add any other relevant information. And with that, we have summarized the headline, the main content of the article to get the essential part of it. So with this, we have developed a model that is together with vectorization and nearest neighbor search that is going to both look for the most similar article in terms of content, but also based on importance. This model is going to be enhanced with user engagement signals. If a user dislikes an article, this article will not be recommended. Similar articles related to this one will not be recommended, but if a user likes one article, we will be recommending that type of article. Moreover, if a user reads an article and spends time in the web reading that article, we are going to have a threshold for a reading engagement. For example, if a user is reading in the newspaper page for at least 90 seconds, we tend to say that this user is interested in the article. Together with the bias mitigation techniques, the balance report has been created where we show to the user the ideological exposure of the reading behavior, the different outlets they consume, and also some graphs with two important metrics that are the Shannon entropy and the Kullback-Leibler divergence. Finally, the system has been coded and with a front-end development and also with a dual server backend. So the results show for the Kullback-Leibler divergence, this metric measures how far is a distribution from its equilibrium. So the first bar, the green bar, shows a recommender system that does not implement bias mitigation techniques. So as you can see, the divergence is the highest of the three, and the two other bars represent a recommender system with the bias mitigation techniques that have been implemented in Political Horizon. So the orange one is the one with a weight of 2, and the blue one is the one with a weight of 3. What is the weight meaning? The weight reflects how many articles of the user's declared political leaning are we going to recommend in the recommendation. So if the user likes an article and we are going to give 5 new recommendations based on that article, if the weight is 2, we are going to recommend 2 articles of that same leaning, and the other 3 are going to be either from the other leanings, mixed either 2 or 1 or 1 or 2. And 3, it will be taking the 3 articles of the declared political leaning of the user. So the orange one is the lowest divergence shown because we are only going to recommend 2 of the same political leaning of the users, and the 3 are going to be outside of the comfort zone. The Shannon entropy is a bit of a change because what we want here is the highest entropy. Why? Because the entropy defined mathematically is the purity of a node, and the purity of a node is when all of the items of that node are of a single class. Here in Political Horizon, we want a diversity. We want that all the nodes are different to have a broader exposure to news. So here, that's why we have that. Again, with a weight of 2 in the orange bar, we are going to have the higher Shannon entropy for Political Horizon. This project has also been complemented with a survey regarding if users might be potentially interested in an application. So here is a really interesting graph that shows that center and center-right users, together with center-left, are the ones that identify with a more balanced report that is with political newspapers from a lot of perspectives, whereas far-right or left users identify with a polarized balanced report that is a balanced report only showing news from a single political leaning or for a single newspaper. Here we can also see the interest in personalized balance report of the leanings that the users have been responding in the survey, and we can see again that center left to center right users are the ones that are showing highest interest in getting a balance report of this type. And I've also made we have also made a survey regarding the age and demographic characteristics of those interviewed. So the young adults from 18 to 24 gap and from 25 to 31 gap are the ones that have been a bit reflected and have shown they're more interested in expanding their exposure and not only getting the opinion of one political leaning or a single newspaper. Also, the interested in on report by age shows the same, that the young adults together with the 50 to 55 to 54 to 64 age group are the ones that have been more reflective on the survey shown. Lastly, the conclusions that we can find from this app is that we have been able to build a recommender system that combines both bias-aware techniques with bias mitigation techniques, but we want to further continue researching and also not be having a static database, but also being able to integrate this with real-time news, real-time events, and also with feedback of the users and user-richer metadata, not only likes or dislikes, but also other types of data that the user might give to us. So that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sergio. It was very, very inspiring and interesting talk. I really enjoyed some of the technical details. And I must say, it's really important work you do, because the personalization in social networks and news is a very big problem. All the companies, they are in charge, they are aware of it, but they don't care because it brings them the money. So I think when somebody wants to improve it, even from a big company, it's really nice to hear and nice to see. So I am really looking forward for the questions for audience, because it was very important, interesting topic. Okay, so I will open a question. Maybe the audience will join me later. What do you think? Do you think that your approach could be applied also to social media?
Yeah, in fact, that's one of the future research directions I want to make, because now we are only with a static database, but I think that including other types of sources such as Twitter or other types of social media where news are also consumed would be very beneficial.
Yes, I think so. Thank you. Do we have any questions from audience? Don't be shy. I think everyone so one question for audience. Who do you use Google News? Who of you does use Google News? You don't read Google News? Yeah, so very few people here. Maybe they read the news the old-fashioned way and are not so impacted by the personalization as we are. But I think it's a very important work for you to do because, yeah, a lot of people want to read the things they know, assure with the idea that already they have, and if something challenges them, it can be uncomfortable. Yeah, do you think that you can have some like refusal rate of the users because you will challenge some of their ideology? Do you think that it can also deter them from using the system?
Exactly, that's what the survey was also evaluating. What type of users are really interested in changing and adapting, not only consuming one certain type of content, but also getting other types of opinion or other types of newspaper content that is not from their ideology. You know? So I think it's important to not only consume information that you are aligned with and you are agreeing with, but also other types of points of view, because when you want to argue about something, you need to have both types of information. No?
Exactly, thank you. So, any questions about personalization and biases caused by personalization from the audience? Okay, so please clap to Sergio once more. Very interesting talk. And last but not least, we have Přemysl Rosulek. And again, this talk will be from the political spectrum, because Přemysl Rosulek is a political scientist and the academic guarantor of master program in political science. So we will definitely hear something about political governance and a very interesting work he is doing right now. He's crafting an ethical code for AI use in the Czech parliamentary campaign. So something really important, that AI is starting to involve campaigns and like changing user opinions. Again, we heard that today many times. So we will be having a very up-to-date talk from Přemysl about political campaign ethics in the emerging age of AI towards a code conduct for the 2025 Czech parliamentary elections. So the floor is yours, Přemysl, and we are looking forward for your talk.
Okay, thank you for EUPeace organizers for inviting me. Thank you for coming here and for lasting till the last presenter of this panel session. I'm a political scientist, as my colleague from the department in different faculty has nicely introduced me. I'm a political scientist at the University of West Bohemia, and actually, coming up, I'm inventor of code of conduct for political parties prior to parliamentary elections, which we are having to hold in 2-3 weeks in the Czech Republic. But allow me to come to the procedure, how it came to become a code of conduct officially published, and as a consequence, what is going on further. As Czech political environment related to artificial intelligence, of course, is rather jungle. And beginning to it, I was very honored. I got this invitation from Lukáš Benzel, who is a director, who was speaking here for a long time, in a good sense, at the beginning of this event, and who is a director of Czech Association for Artificial Intelligence. And I was actually given this opportunity to create a code of conduct And I said, okay, this is really challenging. There were many reasons. I said, yes, I will do it. Because I had some experiences, of course, on social science and humanities, with media and politics, with teaching political marketing and contemporary political theory or theories. Also, and with some courses and grants innovated. I could innovate educational grants, I could innovate my subjects, teaching subjects, and I could also spread some knowledges with colleagues from Faculty of Pedagogy and Faculty of Economy across the region. In Pilsen region and Karlovy Vary region, we were teaching courses related to media, social sciences, and artificial intelligence in the time of disinformation, misinformation, and conspiracy theories. And innovation of courses just allowed me to come closer to artificial intelligence. Both of these grants were due to, thanks to support of University of West Bohemia, which is quite narrowing this approach to applying artificial intelligence in all of the strata, also social science and humanities. And I was very glad, very happy that Lukáš Benzel, director of Czech Association for Artificial Intelligence, which was founded in 2023, did lots of work in spreading awareness in relation to artificial intelligence across all stratas you can imagine, technical issues, economics, culture, and as well society, and as well, and mainly politics. So this is the project I was actually elaborating with my students, the project number one, which helped me to get closer to students by applying, and they were just detecting disinformation, etc. But now closer to the projects. Actually, Lukáš Benzel was having a lecture at our department on artificial intelligence, because I'm teaching the course Media and Politics. On meetings related to artificial intelligence seasons, conferences, I usually meet AI optimists only. You know this division, AI optimists, pessimists, skeptics. So I'm just also teaching about Marxist and worldwide and third worldist critical approaches towards implementation of AI, a divide, south and north, and poor and rising divide, and poor and rich people, etc. But that was the beginning, and I created the conduct. I was very happy to publish it. Today I spoke to director. This is the conduct. You can find it, upload it, or just look on it. It's in Czech, unfortunately only. However, you have many programs, and so you can translate it. But we spoke to director that for archives purposes, we will translate it into English as well, because this is not only for purpose for using artificial intelligence before the elections, but also for archives, and probably, as we know with Czech Association for Artificial Intelligence, it will be challenging for further. And I will see my major motivations were to create COIT as a preventive safeguard, and because I'm teaching and I'm busy with ethics on communication and political science, and also it serves as a normative guide for promoting responsibility use of AI in order to promote, to support, to keep sustainability in relation to democratic values and public trust. So that's a key question, in Central Eastern European realm, due to disinformation, toxification of society, and due to rising awareness of these issues of the third parties' involvement into the AI and politics. As we see, I will show you later, I came up to dig down into literature review, which was quite long work. Because first of all, I was reading lots of stuffs, not only in relation to media, like relevant media. 2024 was actually prima causa of my orientation, because 2024 was a very important year in implementing codes of conducts, even laws, and even recommendations, not only in the US or in certain states, but also in quite a few countries, Singapore, South Korea, Brazil, Indonesia, and some others, who somehow similarly dealt with awareness of using artificial intelligence in elections, in electoral campaign, in relation to ethics, ethical standards. Because it's a tool, it's just a tool, it could be positive, it could be also negative. But you see, 2024 failed in general, and I would say, to become a year of artificial intelligence in elections. Not yet. You know, that was just the year of start and the year when the codes of conducts were imposed, or even the laws were imposed, applied into various countries or states in relation to US. So I took lots of work on literature review related to second source, bibliography of scientific sources related to it, to think tanks, to NGOs, to recommendation or discussion about lawyers before elections, to parties, to code of conducts, to existing code of conducts. I did really vast monitoring of many sources. Okay, think what I found, and what I found very dangerous were minorities, you know, minorities and immigrants and women. The issue of women was quite inspiring for me, that this is really a danger, and it could pose a danger, like nude deepfakes. That's something what made me really scary. And it's quite important. I found also some researchers already done on that, that usually deepfakes, even soft fakes, are targeting women, and that they are really targeting women and slipping them and just annoying videos, making annoying these sort of negative campaigns that they used to have some pornographic past. And these sort of videos, you know, that's, for instance, in Brazil, I found really scary issues. I went through the candidates which were written there in 2024, pornography deepfakes. But this is just an example, but I assume that is really striking example of what AI could do, and there is a rising awareness among scientists, but lowering awareness of people, how they can detect reality from constructivist issues, which go into social media network, which is like my students. I ask my students, where you get information from? They ask me, they reply, TikTok, from TikTok. What? Even students are getting information from TikTok. You know, new generation is completely different. Look, you came by train, by bus, by plane. Nobody is reading papers, books. Everybody is looking at mobile phones. Do they play chess? No, they look at stupid videos. Mostly people do. Sorry, this is completely new trend, and it's scary trend. And AI is adding to it in very often in not some examples, not a good sense. Taylor, 50s, you know, one of the best singer of United States, supporting Democrats, and now what happened? Donald Trump just posted a message on social media that she's supporting him. That was a fake, you know, but you think that there is some truth in it. Oh, she might have changed. There is a truth in it, you know, it's dangerous, you know, that could be just a joke, you know, but, you know, and that there is no sign, you know, and it became faked videos, there were many faked pictures, and also in X social media, under Kamala Harris post, there were many from bots and from different accounts, weird accounts whatsoever, there were many posts like that. You know, that, you, Kamala, what are you talking about, this, and this. So there are just toxification of social media by this sort of became a reality. Germany, who knows German, can translate it easily, but this is faked, or this is artificial intelligence poster, it reminds you on Nazi time, the guy looks like real German, how the Nazi figure it was created, and it's like Drogenmarkt, against drugs, we want nice, weekends, and again against the second line is against Green Deal, and the third line is that we want kindergartens and schools to be renewed. We don't want to build new Asylheimen, for refugees who built. And this is the pornography. This is the porn which was made from, and this is the analysis of the nude deepfakes in Brazil. So I was scared of this sort of development in the Czech Republic, and I developed, I went through the restrictions which were done in Singapore, which were done in Indonesia. They did differ somehow, like 90 days before election, 30 days before elections. Usually they banned deepfake videos and deepfake pictures only in hot phase of elections, etc. But that was important. And code of conduct, I did the Czech code of conduct having 10 crucial pillars. 10 is important, in New Testament and Old Testament is in 10 pillars. Roma people had we had 10 fingers. Roma people, they had, they had 10 months. There were 10 bills of rights after US Constitution was approved. So, and etc., etc. Also the genocide by the UN is defined by 10 points, etc., etc. We can continue. So I try to smash it as lowest as possible. And if you translate it, then you see there are 3 pillars of this EUPeace, like inclusiveness, one of the pillars. I tried to prove that campaign or to disseminate this action also further, I will show you, not to be ethical and to have ethical standards on it, and not to, that electoral campaign should not lead to disparities, to polarization which is unethical, which was beyond ethics. I wanted to support peace and trustfulness of elections, and non-discrimination of different sort of issues. Well, dissemination, that was dissemination, and disseminated every week. Journalists are calling me, and I try to spread this, what we did in radio, in website of, in Aktuálně.cz, Novinky.cz, which are in everywhere. This is also in university radio, quite recently, West Bohemian University Radio, etc. So every week, anybody is asking me, and everybody I try to answer. Unfortunately, political parties, okay, 1 minute. Political parties in the Czech Republic didn't sign themselves responsibility for that code of conduct, unlike the political parties and groups prior to 2024 European Parliament elections. All of them, 9 groups, signed the code of conduct 2 months before the elections to European Parliament. But the Czech political parties didn't sign it up. Some journalists calling me saying, you good, but you too early, maybe next year. I think the parties are afraid because we will be ethical, but the other will be non-ethical, and we have no, revenge, no tool to revenge against them. Next step is the research. I'm doing research on that, whether they are ethical or non-ethical implicitly, But both leftists and rightists are having, you should translate it because this is like, usually there is no one viral, likely, and I'm happy, there is no one viral deepfake video or deepfake picture. But there are many soft fake, unethical pictures, both from left, both from right, both from democratic, non-democratic, liberal, illiberal, just across the political parties in the Czech Republic in use without signing this is created by artificial intelligence. And last slide, thank you for, because my research is in progress, so maybe you will know it later. Thank you for your attention, and I'm sorry, maybe 2 more minutes it took my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Przemek. It was very, very important topic. Influencing public opinion with AI is very, very dangerous, and like preparing some guidelines is definitely something that is useful for the society. So I open the general discussion. We have 5 minutes, so please use them and ask Přemysl about your ideas. Yeah, you have, thank you.
It was really extremely interesting. Thanks a lot for this presentation, for the work you've done. I have a short question. As far as I've got it, the code of conduct did not work for the elections in Czech Republic, but it worked for the European elections. And what was the impact? Could you please shortly describe the impact? And did you have some kind of monitoring of the results of following this code of conduct by the European groups? Thanks a lot.
Thank you. This is quite interesting question. I actually don't know where you're coming from, but Central European countries, this is, maybe you can answer, please.
Personally, I come from Ukraine, but now
Yes,
I am a PhD student in the University of Limoges, France.
Thank you very much. Because why I'm asking, thank you so much. Because Czech Republic and many Eastern European countries, the European elections turnout is quite low. It's really out of the question, and people don't trust in European Parliament. They don't go to elections, and it's really behind the curtain. That's something uninteresting. So to bridge that experience to this experience, only from the power is not actually appealing. It was signed up 2 months prior to elections to European Parliament. The code of conduct from European Parliament was quite interesting. It was signed by in the office office of Věra Jourová, a vice commissioner, one of the head of the European Commission, and all the parties, not parties, but groups, yes, as we said, signed it. You know, that time, the thing is, and we can evaluate it whether they followed that rules, which were quite interesting, but in the Czech Republic, that time awareness about AI was not strong. You know, the AI awareness and coming to AI, because we were teaching at middle schools and high schools across the 2 regions here, and even the teachers, some of the teachers in 2003, 2004, they knew that it exists, but if you were not from the gym, sometimes there was not a clue about it so much. And this coming year, we know, 2025, that it could be a very important tool, but there is no link between that elections and these elections in relation to political parties or groups, or at least I don't see it. Unfortunately, because European conduct for European elections, to me, is quite goodly written.
Thank you. That was a very nice question. Do we have any other, like, political, use AI in politics and creating code of conducts? I think it's not only for politics, but for other areas. It's quite important to really have some researchers dealing with it and advising and having something to really refer to have something that will tell me what may be good practice, what isn't. Do you have any opinions about this? Any questions? So, yeah, I thank Přemysl again for, please, one more clap. Thank you. And now, some few words from the organizers.
Thank you. I wasn't here, but I'm sure it was very interesting. Thank you for all of the speakers and the plenary session again. What I just wanted to mention is that now it came to the closure of today's academic program. You'll have a break of 2 hours now. And please, at 7 p.m., we will gather in the lobby of the Park Hotel by the reception, and we will be guided back to this great hall. I'd like to ask you now to leave, because this great hall has to be transformed in the gala event area. Thank you for participating, and see you in 2 hours.